So hi everyone, today in this video we're gonna develop another mental model that I think it should be useful for you to adopt, since mental models are information representation about how the reality works, and as much more you grasp them, you're gonna have a higher probability to be a better decision maker, which I think ultimately is the type of skill that you should wish to be more developed as possible, so as a decision maker. And then for this you require having methodologies, so systemize your process of thinking and absorbing your data is something that can be useful, and as well getting so good data, truthful data. And mental models works in both two components, since some of the mental models are systems to make a comprehension about the reality, and other ones are information patterns that you already have recognized to get so a good amount of repetition to so be a belief to understand how the world works. Laws of physics is one type of mental models. Our mental models that help us to make so interpretations about the physics phenomena and how they're kind of taken were based in patterns that we have so seen with some repetitiveness of the presence of relations between variables, between the weight of a corpse and the force that so the corpse is. Another pattern, so a specific application, a delta in some specific type of component, and the how quick the corpse gonna so move after the application of this force. So we see these patterns that so kind of take us inference, and information a bit more qualitative than quantitative that works with the formulas works well like that. So how we have learned that the humans tend so to want things that are more and have more familiarity than things that they don't know, based in experiments. So putting psychological experiments that we see people tending so to stick with things that are so familiar with what they've got from experience in the life in comparison with new things. And then so this example. But then so today the lean startup method is good for people that are in the business world or wants to enter as a owner, as someone that creates so a model of business. And then how this works in validate, pivot, and obviously so all with the basis of making you more prone to succeed. So we have to understand every business idea faces uncertainty, and what you know is that time is money. So we don't want to spend time in doing things that doesn't have so future. And why I don't know what is future or not, because exists uncertainty. I want and I cannot predict as much as I will want, but I can't predict what happens in the future. And then so what you have and how this can work, this lean startup method is a way so that you is about to start the startup, how to make it lean, also to not take and spend time and money in things that doesn't aggregate value. So it's a lean approach. So it helps entrepreneurs quickly determine if their ideas have market potential without wasting resources. So the definition is a systematic approach to developing business and products by testing hypotheses, learning from real consumer feedback, and iterating rapidly. So what I will say that are the core components: the build, measure, learn loop. So these three stages: build, then measure, then learn, a loop that you repeat a lot of times. So first, build, develop a minimum viable product, or MVPs, is a component that has already have been built. It's a bit saturated to get so people so take and understand what this means, but MVP, it's like a thing that you have not put that much of time, but people already perceive what is the idea of a product. It's like you looking today for iPhone is already incrementally evolved till the moment that it was an MVP. And it's obviously something that is even more applied in technology, that we have more potential to so make engineering to put more devices in one thing. But then we always first by selling an idea, and we have to get like a minimum viable product. That's something that as a minimum viable sold to someone's buy, because the objective is not to already have and have a sellout. The objective is to just test the idea with a small sample of consumers, because you always want to so get a small sample of people that want to experiment your product, because obviously if you have an MVP, if you not have spent that much of energy, time, you have not something that so aggregates value and makes other ones trigger so their button to click so your product. And then so a minimum viable product is more useful for the data that you got from the feedbacks, if they like the idea, if what so are the things that they would like to get developed in, so the components that your MVP is still gonna evolve to a more end product. So it's more something to collect data than to get money. And so this build comes after so measure, because you're going to measure the information that you get from the feedbacks that the customers, that are the ones that you're trying to convince the product. So you're going to build a product based on customer, and not just going to try to create theories in your mind and putting all your money in it and kind of do a bet. Then when you have end products, it's like 80 or 80. So or you have a sellout, or you have developed this whole system, wasting all your resources, and you're in a risk to nobody wants. If you develop an MVP, you put to test and you evolve. So with the time, so you have the process of evolving as matches a lot with the process of being in market. So you're still going to evolve your product while it's already in the market, receiving feedbacks. So validated. So the learning, every experience is opportunity to learn what works or doesn't from the customer's perspective. And as much so quick you do it by constructing a most minimal viable product, instead of expecting to produce whole project and just so put to test when you already have the hand product, because as much so quick so you do this release, more flexibility you have to change so the way that your device is, since in the last case, whatever it is the methodology that you will adopt, MVP or putting all your money and just launch when you have a hand product, what you do is making profit, and for that you require your customer to like. And then so that's why most viable product seems to be something positive today, because as much more you get that the feedback quick since the pre-building of something, more so you're gonna get adaptiveness from what the environment that you are really needs. So, and obviously we have feedbacks from the already that you produce with. You can pivot or you can preserve. So based on feedback, decide if you need to change direction, the pivot, or continue on the current path. So persevere. How does this work? I think it's clear. Start with a minimal viable product that contains just enough features to address the core problem. The goal is not perfection, as I said, but to get a working prototype into the hands of real users quickly, and then based in their data to develop since then. Measure, collect so the data from users using the MVP, and use so the analytics and surveys and interviews to assess how well the product meets their needs. Learn, analyze the feedbacks to validate your assumptions, and determine so if the product is solving the intent problem or not. What are the real world examples of people that have adopted this or business? We have the Dropbox, start with the simple demo video so to gauge interest before fully developing the product. We have Airbnb, began by renting out a hair mattress in a living room, testing the market demand before scaling. And Zappos as well validated the idea of online show sales by first taking photos of shows from local stars rather than stocking inventory. I think it's clear so what was the content of this video, what you have to follow even more today, because this relies a lot in you having quickness to produce, quickness to so have access to data, and so ability to have flexibility based on their data to produce so your product. And I think the context helps so to us to adopt more this type of methodology to start business, because it's even more easy than it was in ever was, and in the future will even be more, to assess data, to assess potential customers, assess people that can experience so be and have experimentation about your product. And as much so with as well the psychological way to act, more liberalism, so people are more open to new things, so people as well are more open to experiment, to have experimentation of new things. And these obviously two components that help so you to adopt this MVP, people that are so open to test a minimum viable product, and so having a quick access that not require you to have much of costs to get so data from customers. And obviously today it's easier to aggregate this information. We have computers, we have all these gadgets, then we can make Solar Union. It's easier to as well even to make interpretations. We have ChatGPT, we have other tools, EA tools. It's even easier to take conclusions, and it's easier as well today to, because obviously to have more flexibility, you have tend to a lot of customers, and then it's obviously we have high type of diversity of ways that your device can develop since the start of having P and what's going to be so the end product. But as well, it's so easier today to aggregate information. We have all tools. It's even becoming easier in the future. More so, you're going to be able to pivot to different things because it's easier to aggregate knowledge today. So I think it's like my thesis of how you should adopt the business world. By adopting this methodology, I think you're more prone to be someone that produces the efficient type of business. So I expect this video has helped you. Don't forget to subscribe, put a like, and if other videos may trigger your interest, so feel confident to see it. See you in the next one.